Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Warpath. And take a look here, this is the box, and he's got, all of the coolness you see on there, and there's a side, and then there's the back, and there's the top, and there's the bottom. So, not much to say here. Moving along, there's the instructions, and they're kind of done in this green color here. Pretty much some of the more interesting kind of just steps to go along. Pretty easy to follow and whatnot. But let's take a look at this figure up close and personal. And we can see here that he's pretty good looking Warpath. I mean, for a this is a reach over to get the box. It says this is a deluxe class. Yep. So this runs around, I think around $20. So not too bad. And he's got some really good articulation. If you notice, he's got the bends there at the knee. He can go here. He can do the full squats and sit down. Let's see here. Can you get him to squat and sit? Yeah, sure can. Because his feet are so large. They're very big feet. He has some waist swivel here. Yep, sure does. Very tight. He's got that, and his head is on a ball peg, and so he can move it about. And his head has his face has some paint right there. And those eyes are definitely painted black. So, interesting looking figure. This is some paint here. There is a lot of paint on this figure. It's kind of hard to tell because they've matched it fairly well. He comes with this shield thing. This actually, this thing attaches during his transformation to the bottom. And this is actually, it's painted on this side. And this is the color of the molded plastic. It's a very close match, but you can tell that they painted this. So that's pretty neat. And yeah, he can hold it like a shield or whatever. But he comes with no other weapons. I guess when you're talking about this thing here, that's a weapon. So you could extend it and, and shoot people at angles up, both in this mode and in his alt mode as well. So he's got some elbow rotation right here. He can't really move it very far out, but he can move, far up, like 90 degrees is pretty much what you're getting here. He can move his shoulders out or his arms out like this. And this looks pretty good. What else do we have here? We also have the treads here, the bottom of his feet, and these are painted as well. It's pretty interesting. They use a lot of paint on this, I think. Let's see here. You know what's really interesting, and I'm going to show you this. It's painted on. It's painted here, but this color here is the color of the plastic, and you can see the paint overspray here on this edge. So that's the paint color that you see over here. Woohoo! That you see here. It's the same paint color, but it's you'd have to look pretty closely. I don't even know if it shows up on camera. And you can see this also in his arm. It's that same like light colored plastic, and then it's painted. Not really too much overspray on that. You can see it here, and then on that that peg port right there. And this is also painted here. So. Some really cool stuff here. I mean, they've done a really good job with this, and he's got great articulation. Let's see here. We go like this. Yeah. So he can do all sorts of cool things, and he does, of course, have that ankle tilt. We'll call that an ankle tilt on both sides there. So and be careful though, because I kind of unpegged it just a bit. So snap. So these things actually fit together like so. Anyway, yeah, so he's probably the best Warpath we've seen. I don't even recall what our last version of Warpath would have been. So that's what we got going on here. So let's get to transforming this little guy. So the first thing we want to do is we're gonna move these aside, and we've got this here, and we're gonna pull this whole thing is tabbed in here. I'm going to push this down. You can see it kind of fits there. And then there's this panel here, and you want to push it up over it. So it'll be a little tricky if you're just using your fingers, and it's only held on with a friction peg. So pull it all the way out, and then there's this panel here. So once you get it there, you're going to pull that panel out, and then you're going to push this back down and let it rest, kind of like here. And you can see how the molding kind of tries to match right there. So, you know, I try to get it to fit in the best I can. So I think that about does it right there. It should rest just slightly underneath there. So the next thing you want to do is make sure his head is straight. Pull the gun out all the way for the, or the cannon for the tank, and if you do that, that'll hold it in place, because it tends to slide in if that's not quite tight. You can kind of keep it like that, and that'll keep it kind of out of the way, because what's going to happen here is you're going to open this panel here, and you can see those two tabs fit into the slots back there. We're going to flip this back, and then we're going to close this up, and then re-close it, because there's another equal set of tabs on the front of this. So let's do that. All right, so now we got those in place. We're going to now fold these arms. We're just going to keep these out of the way for the moment. But to really do this correctly, we want to make sure that we untab this here and get these treads out of, get these treads lined up. They're going to kind of line up here, if you can see those two. But we're going to get to that in just a minute. We'll just get that kind of prepped so it looks like this right there. All right, so now let's look at the legs, work on them. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to pull open this here and straighten out this other side of the tread. And then we're going to turn this here. We're going to turn the leg in and out. There's a hinge here. And then we're going to we'll pull this panel out. And we're going to take this now. We're going to untab. Now we're here. You're going to untab this and pull it back like this. And then we're going to rotate this so that it's like that. Now we're kind of ready to go on ahead and, oops, let's see here. Did I do this correctly? All right, so, all right, so it's got to be open like this, then pull it down like that, and then rotate it around. So all this should be kind of oriented in that direction. So let's do that again on the other side. Okay, so we've got this, open this up, and then we're going to do, we're going to untab this, get that out of the way. Pull this down, so now we're closing, if you think of it like this, you're closing that panel right there on the top. And make sure that those line up. And then we want to rotate this so that they're all kind of facing in this direction. And then we are going to, we're going to actually, we're going to fold this down. So now that we have them like this, we fold this down so that this lines up here. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. There. Now rotate these so they're back straight like this, and now you can see how things are going to line up. Go on ahead and tab these together and tab these together. All right, now we're going to pull this over here. We can actually see, I missed this part right here. These here will tab, well, they should be, these tabs should be underneath this, and there's a little kind of slot right there, and they're kind of going to go in there. All right, cool. So now, same thing here. Do that. Now, rotate this around, pull these. Now, see, I always get this part a little confused. So you want to push these in here, and then this here, there's a tab and a slot, again, that goes into the side of the arms. And then we want to put them in. Actually, I think it's better if you open this up and then just kind of make sure that you see how I have this so that you can get these fists. These fists need to fit into here. So this is kind of a position you want to have it in, like this. And then make, so if you have them out like this, you're in the optimal position to kind of close everything up. So you make sure that these fists are here and that these line up like this. And do the same thing on the other side. And you can now close this, making sure that this tabs in on those areas right there, that tread piece, and then close this all the way down and kind of close this all up. Now, not quite done yet, so you make sure that these line up, push them in, there we go, just like that. Now, we have this thing here, and this thing does serve a nice purpose. It'll help kind of tighten everything up. So we have two tabs here, goes into these 2 slots here. And then there's another 2 tabs here that'll go into those slots there. So we've got 4 points where they need to plug in. 2 here, and 2 here. And if you just push it straight up, it should all line up nice and neatly. Just like that. And there he is, Warpath in his tank mode, and yeah, he's pretty cool, man. I'm going to say this is probably one of the best Warpaths I've ever seen, you know, come out. And I'm even trying to remember what Warpath we had before that. So you can rotate his turret around like this. Of course, he showed the articulation with this piece right here, and he does have some wheels down here. When all this lines up nice and neatly, sometimes if you just kind of give it a nice squeeze, it'll all tighten up, and you can see how the details look. I mean, it's very solid looking. I have no complaints about this figure. It's really, really nice. So yeah, and there's the front of it, you know, everything kind of lines up. So I do like this figure. I think it's a great little figure to add to your War for Cybertron collection. And I think that it's a very accurate, you know, G1 representation. So, hey guys, thanks for joining me. If you like these videos, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more of my content, and if you would, and if you want to see more of that, then subscribe and get notifications by clicking on the bell. And we will talk to you next time.